Hello again, and good morning, Campus Real Estate Miami Lakes team. This is yours truly, Coach. Today is Wednesday, February 7th, and amazing that we are already in the second month of the year, and it just seems like it was New Year's just just last week. How's that? But nevertheless, hey, time does not stop. Time does not delay itself. So here we are. We're going to move forward and we're going to hopefully get some value or help you get some value out of this training today. So today's training is going to be recorded, as all of you know. It's going to be posted on YouTube. It's going to be sent by email, and it will be posted on the WhatsApp. But needless to say, it's not the same as you being in person, because when you are in person, now you get the full effect and you get to ask questions that if you're listening after the training or just on the recording, then any thoughts or any ideas or anything that may come up, or that that your mind says a big aha, you won't be able to share it. So that's the only bad thing about not joining me in person or live when I do these trainings through Zoom. So today's subject is the value of a listing and how to find them. So I have a bunch of thoughts, ideas. I got some questions for all of you, and hopefully I will keep this training in about an hour's time, hour, maybe a little bit over an hour. So we'll see, depending on how many questions you have, depending on as I go through a particular subject where my mind takes me, uh, so that I'll elaborate a little bit more. But for the most part, it'll probably be about an hour. So the value of a listing and how to find them. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to discuss the oh bueno here. Let's see here. I have something to share. All right, so there it is. So the first thing I'm going to share is the 6 income producing activities of a real estate agent. So first and foremost is lead generate and prospect. So for any of you who have shared time with me, you know that this is what's on top of mind. This is the conversations that we'll have. This is what I coach on. As part of the productivity coaching program is lead generating and prospecting. Because if you do not lead generate and you don't prospect, you're basically are not in business. So 2 thoughts on this. The first one is there's 2 ways of finding business. One is you either lead generate and prospect. In other words, you go out fishing, you go hunting. Or number 2, you market. You spend money to find business. Now, I'm sure all of you agree that spending money to find business could become expensive, especially if you're starting this business. Okay. Now, for the dual career agents, this may be the only way that you could get your business up and going, because you lack time. You don't have enough time to do the things that you need to do in order to find business and work business, and once you find business, to work the business. So maybe your fastest ticket to getting into full-time real estate, if you're a dual career agent and if you're thinking of becoming a full-time real estate agent, is investing in marketing your services and products. Number 2, lead follow-up. So this is where most agents, they lose tons of money. Take it from me. I'll be the first one to say that I know, and it's through 20 plus years in my real estate business, that I leave anywhere between $15,000 to $25,000, perhaps more than $25,000 a year on the table. And this is when properties were at 100, 200, 300,000, let alone as they are now, 500, 600, 700,000. But imagine if you leave 2 or 3 transactions on the table because lack of follow. How much does that cost? In today's market, with the average price being about 400,000, a commission of 2.5%, that's $10,000. If you leave three transactions on the table, that is the equivalent of $30,000. So 3 times 10,000, $30,000. So lead follow-up is the name of the game. So as part of your lead generating and prospecting, you need to carve out time for lead follow-up, and that is key. Okay, provided that you're following the lead generating model, the lead follow-up is part of the lead generating. Number 3, listing appointments and take listings. So that's the reason I wanted to share this slide, is because this goes hand in hand with today's training. So going on listing appointments and taking listings. Number 4 is showing properties to qualified buyers only. Number 5 is negotiating contracts. And number 6 is price improvements. Now, price improvements is when you take a listing, it's not selling. Well, now you have to have those conversations with your sellers, and that's where you'll be investing time as part of your income producing activities, or the 6 income producing activities of a real estate agent. And very key here, it says that 80% of my time should be invested and dedicated to do these 6 income producing activities. So how does this look? Let's say you decide on a weekly basis, especially to the dual career agent, that you're going to work 20 hours a week. Okay, whenever they come. If you decide to work Monday and Wednesday, 8 hours a day, and Saturday, 4 hours equals to 20 hours, then out of those 20 hours, 16 hours, which is 80% of those 20 hours, should be invested in prospecting and doing these 6 income producing activities. Okay, so that's my thought leading into this training, the 6 income producing activities of a real estate agent. Now, the value of a listing as it pertains to the many things you could do upon securing a listing. Number 1, when you take a listing, you become the employer and not the employee. Question: who do you think earns the most money, the employer or the employees? Okay. All right, so one of the agents here in the class is saying what? Can't hear you. The employer. Okay, so think of where you're at right now. If you're not working this business full-time, wherever it is that you're working at, think of who's employing you and compare yourself, and who do you think is taking most money home? And obviously the answer is the employer. So when you become the listing agent, you become the employer by default. Why? Because your listing, you could service your customer, provided that you have access to the internet, provided that you answer your phone, or provided that you have even the systems in place that you don't even need to field the call, because you got Show Assist to schedule the appointments for you. So you can leverage your time when you have a listing, and you become the employer while you're away doing whatever it is that brings you most satisfaction, or it's most important for you. You have the rest of the agents and real estate community working with their customers, working with their buyers, scheduling the appointments, driving, from appointment to appointment, helping them to find a property, while you're doing, hopefully, finding another listing, prospecting for another listing, doing something to find something. Okay, so that's the first thought. Second is you leverage your time better when you become a listing agent. So here's a thought, especially for the dual career agents, and I think I'm going to be repetitive on this. The best way to get into this business and work in it full-time is leveraging your time, and with the limited time you have, commit to prospecting for listings, because there are 2 ways of getting listings. And I said it earlier, you either prospect for them or you market for them. So here's a big aha. One of our responsibilities as real estate agents is to market ourselves, market our business, market our listing. Therefore, this is one of our responsibilities. Therefore, if this is one of our responsibilities, then guess what? You need to get good at marketing all three of these areas. When you do, the business will follow. So again, you need to market yourself, you need to market your business, and you need to uh, market your listings. Okay. So here's a question. So who are my marketing majors, individuals, agents who have uh, earned a degree in marketing, or your marketing business entrepreneurs, or marketing agents? In other words, that your work is in marketing. Now, perhaps you may not have known this up to this moment, but this is the perfect business for you. Because again, you are in the marketing business. You are in the real estate sales business. And part of your real estate sales is marketing your business and services. Now, thoughts about leveraging your time. For those of you who have visited or spoken with me regarding the productivity coaching program, you know that one of the items I have emphasized as the difference between a top producer versus an average agent is time management. So it's never it's always a good idea to revisit this slide about the average agent or the top producer versus the average agent. We'll go through this real quickly again. They say a sign of a good teacher or coach is being repetitive. Okay. So that's why I do this, because I think there's value in it. Okay. So number one is mindset. Number two is consistency, whatever it is that you do, that you do it on a consistent basis. Creating habits, time management, focus, accountability, systems, and the desire to succeed based on the chapter 2 of the book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. All right. So again, time management. Time management is well, the thought, what I wrote here is the best way to manage your time in business is by securing a listing. Being that, as noted at the onset, when you take a listing, you have become the employer in this business. And when you become the employer, you're free to work at your liberty and not when your clients need for you to perform for them during their off time. So again, the best way to leverage your time is securing a listing. And this is part of the value of a listing. Now let's talk about the financial benefit of having a listing. When you get a listing, you get to compensate the buyer's agents how much you want. And this is perhaps one of the best kept secrets in the industry. And I'm giving it to you right here, right now. Yes, you heard it right. When you get a listing, you get to compensate the buyer agent what you want. Meaning that all of those listings that you see compensating you 2% or less than 3% is most likely due to the listing agent paying you as the employee less than he will earn as the employer. So let's use the example of a $10,000 commission. A $10,000 commission that, let's say it's 5%, all right? And the listing agent decided to pay you 2% and he earns 3%. Therefore, they get to earn $6,000 and you earn $4,000. Okay. That is allowed in the industry. I take listings at 6%, provided that they're sellable listings. I compensate myself 3.5%, and I compensate the buyer's agent 2.5%. There's nothing illegal, nothing unethical about that. It's just you having the confidence that that listing, you're going to sell it. And especially if it's a sellable listing, then it is highly recommendable that you do that. Okay. So the other thing to that is that you need to make sure you let your homeowner know that you're going to be doing this, because now, if the property doesn't sell and now he's looking at what was going on and he finds out, or they find out, that you were compensating the other real estate agent less money than what you earned, then you can find yourself in trouble. Right? So this is really going to be based on your skills as a real estate agent and as a listing agent. In other words, for you to project that confidence, and and for your seller to, to be confident of that you're going to do the job of selling their home. Now, here's another thought. When you get a listing, or better said, go on a listing appointment, you can negotiate your commission upwards, depending on your sales and negotiating skill. So why not get a 7% listing instead of a 6 or a 5% listing? Hey, there's no rules against that. If you're good at what you do, and if you're going to get that homeowner top dollar, then market it at 7%. And again, you could compensate the other agent less than what you earn, or you could compensate them equally, 3.5 and 3.5. So it's really up to you. All right. So there is no rules as to what it is that you charge for your services as a listing agent. Because at the end of the day, it's all about your skills. And here is a mindset thought. In the absence of value, write this down, everyone. In the absence of value, money and commission becomes an issue, or the issue. Okay? So in the absence of value, money and commission becomes an issue, or the issue. In other words, being that the majority of the consumers or sellers, for that fact, see us or our industry as one that lacks value, unless you promote yourself as a professional realtor who is worthy of your compensation and earnings, therefore, don't sell yourself short. Okay? So overall, the consumers out there, they see us real estate agents maybe equal to the car salesperson, or maybe even a little bit below the car salesperson. Okay. And that is a direct indictment on our industry, because the way we have gone about and portrayed ourselves or our industry. So if you've been long enough in this business, I am sure you have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly as to how real estate agents represent themselves, not only to the public, but to you as a professional real estate agent. So how many of you have tried to reach out to a real estate agent, and you call them, you text them, you email them, and zilch, nada, crickets? Well, if they're doing that to you, guess what? They're doing that to the public, and they're doing that to their customers to a certain extent. Okay. Because they're not being proactive. They're not being engaged. So that's what I mean about how the public perceives us. How many of you have gone out and shown properties, or been at a property, or been at an open house, and you see a real estate agent walking with their customers in t-shirts and jeans and flip-flops, in sneakers? You could have a down day. Look, you could have a bad day. You have 2 bad days. And if you're a casual person, that's fine. but dress business casual. You don't have to dress with a t-shirt from a concert that you went 20 years ago. It's all faded out. Okay. You don't have to walk around with your jeans, that have holes in them. I know it's stylish. It's the design, it's better said, it's trying to trying to find the help me out, the style, the fashion, you know, it's okay that you do that every now and then. But if that is your modus apparatus or apparatus Monday, one or the other, then you need to check yourself out, because that is what you're portraying out there to the industry, and or better said, to the consumer, and that is what you're going to get compensated for. Okay, you're going to get compensated instead of a professional, and instead of a real estate consultant, and instead of you that you have a license with the Department of Business and Professional regulators from the state of Florida, that the doctors, accountants, anyone who's a professional is regulated by them, and they get paid by them. We have the same license. We're regulated by them, but we don't portray ourselves as such. So, if you're in a practice and if you're still following me and still listening to this recording, I highly recommend that you make it top of mind as first impressions. How do people see you at the first onset when they meet you the first time? How are you projecting yourself? How's your marketing? How are you marketing yourself? How's your voicemail? When you answer the phone, how do you answer the phone? Okay, so there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into this business, but if you could start with first impressions, then you're on the way up. All right. And that's where that quote, in the absence of value, money and commission becomes an issue or the issue. So go for the gusto. Number 3, when you get a listing, you get the opportunity to double end the transaction. In other words, your number one job as a listing agent is to make the most out of the opportunity you have been given, being that if you find a buyer, you will get paid double. Okay. So again, we're fortunate in this business that if we take a listing and you work as a transaction coordinator, as every single agent here at Canvas works as, is that you're able to get a double end. In other words, you take a listing at 5% or 6% and you find that buyer, well, you could get compensated on both sides for finding the buyer and representing the seller. So I have a question here from Vanessa. Yes, absolutely. So the question was, if you're hosting an open house and a buyer comes in, is that considered a double-ended transaction? Yeah, provided that you get that buyer involved on your property and they buy it. Yes, that is your buyer. So that's why open houses is such a value, and that's one of really the values of a listing. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on this train. All right. Now, when you get a listing, you get the opportunity to market it for the purpose of finding a buyer for your listing or any other properties that may be listed. So now you get leads off that listing. You get leads by having a sign posted at the property. You get listings, your property is being marketed in Zillow, and the property is being marketed in realtor.com. And, consumers could contact you directly. So that is one way to get leads, buyer leads. Now, every good listing, provided that you take a sellable listing, a listing should bring you back not only that transaction, but 1 or 2 more additional transactions in the form of one buyer or another listing, and or a combination of both. Okay, So when you take a listing, expect if you do what you're supposed to do, which again, we said, marketing the listing, marketing your services, marketing your business or yourself, provided that you're doing that, then you should expect a return on your marketing by having one or two additional transactions from one particular listing. Number 5, you get to prospect for other buyers or listings, provided that you do what you're supposed to do. So here are your options in doing this. A, circle prospect, meaning calling around the neighborhood or subdivision where you took the listing 2 times. Once when you listed, so now you took a listing on 123 Main Street. Now you're able to do with that listing whatever it is that you want to do as far as marketing goes, depending on your time, depending on your resources. When you list that, now you let everybody know in that neighborhood that you took a listing. Okay, so that's one time. So let's say it's in a community that there's 300, 500 homes. Everybody gets to know that you have that property for sale. Once you sell it, now you do the same thing. Go back into the neighborhood. Hey, I sold my listing on 123. I sold it within 30 days, within 15 days, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. I sold it for 500,000, and there's a script for that. We know when one listing sells, usually 2 other properties sell immediately after. So that is one way of circle prospecting. You get to market it twice, when you list it and when you sell it. Okay. B, you get to do a mail out of just listed and just sold. So now you took a listing and you do a mail out. Okay. It takes money. Okay. Part of this business is you have to prospect and you have to market, a combination of both. Any business requires an investment of time and money, and this business is no different. So you do a mail out of just listed or just sold and see what transpires. Okay. Again, you're sowing a seed. Okay. You sold it, the same thing. Now, within a matter of months, if you do what you're supposed to do within that same community of the 300 or 500 homes, now you walk the neighborhoods or you called the neighborhood and you mailed it a just listed and you did a just sold. So in a matter of 3 months, they saw you 4 times. Okay. Not only that, if you have a sign in front of the home, how many times do those neighbors see your sign? Now you become top of mind and branding. And now if you want to take it to another level, let's say if you find this thing in your neighborhood where you farm, now you're really getting traction in this business. So C, as you, what you get to do when you find a listing. You get to have it marketed on your social media with your own branding and marketing as many times as you want and every day if you wish. So there's no limit. It's your social media marketing. Okay. And you promote your listing. Again, when you list it, during the process of listing it, and after you sold. So that just gives you exposure in your own social media channel. D, you get to do an open house, and in doing so, prospect before the open house and during the open house for buyers or more sellers. So here's a thought, and if you're listening, if you're still listening to this recording, make yourself a note. On Saturday, February 24th, here at the office, from 10 to 12 o'clock, I am going to be doing a workshop titled Doing a 7-level open house, or a level 7 open house. That means that I have a strategy that you could do 7 things to market an open house. It's not just about the day of the open house. You get there, you put the directional signs, and you have people that drive the neighborhoods, hopefully stop by. No, you got to be proactive. And on this, I recommend that you do it as a team, 2 to 3 agents. That way you divide the task. But doing an open house is a planning process. So if you know you're going to be doing an open house, not this Saturday because today is Wednesday, but let's say the following Saturday, now you got 7 days, 7 to 10 days to plan out that open house. Now, depending on the planning will depend the success of your open house. Remember, the open house is not so much about selling the property. The open house is mainly about getting more leads. That's the name of the game, and that's the reason why we do an open house. Okay. Hopefully the sellers are not listening, and usually they're not. They won't listen to this, but don't tell them. The reason we do an open house, and now I'm sounding like someone famous that we see on television. I'm talking real low. The reason and the secret of an open house is to get more leads. Shh, don't tell nobody that. Why? Because you get to do the marketing for it and do it as many times as you want to do so. You get to do an open house during the week if you wish. You can do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can do it Saturday and Sunday. You can do it from 9 o'clock in the morning all the way to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. There's no limits. There's no limits on what you're able to do with an open house. If you find yourself a listing that is vacant, that is gold. Because now you don't have to worry about the homeowner being around and you hosting the listing. So you pack up your breakfast, pack up your lunch, pack up your dinner. You work 8 hours out of that open house. Okay? During the week, in the afternoons, 3 to 6, do an open house. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And again, Saturday and Sunday, all day long. Just bring other agents which along with yourself. All right. So here's a big aha. Be known as the hardest working real estate agent in your neighborhood or in a community or by the seller you represent. There's nothing more valuable to a customer than they see you working hard. You see, because they're paying you to sell their home, and they want to see value. They want to see that, you just didn't put it on the internet and you only put a sign. No, they want to see you working for them, representing them. And you're not really working for them, you're working for yourself. Because now anything that you do, you're looking to prospect not only to sell that property, because trust me, the biggest problem in having a listing is not being able to sell it. Because every time that homeowner leaves his house and sees that sign out there, it's a reminder, my house is on the market, and I wonder where Joel Milian is at. Where is he right now? What is he doing in selling my home? Okay. So the longer that sign stays out there without a contract, that's big trouble. Okay. So again, they want to see you, if they see you putting in effort, they see you working, you're following up with them, you're bringing buyers, your other real estate agents are visiting the home, but yet no offers are coming through, then that's a conversation to be had. Or maybe there's something going on with the market. Maybe something's wrong with the house, whatever. Okay. But the bottom line is you need to get traffic through there. It's a numbers game. The more people that walk through the house, the greater the chances are in that property being sold. So again, the big aha, be known as the hardest working real estate agent in your neighborhood or in your community or by the seller you represent. Number 5, the value of a listing. You get to perhaps represent the seller in selling their home and helping them buy a home. So here's a big aha, or better said, another thought. How about earning three-sided commissions, or perhaps even four-sided commissions, and working with one seller buyer? Okay, so think of this. You have a seller that needs to buy. So hopefully if you do a good enough job that they'll entrust you with the job of helping them find a home. So that's two sides. You got the listing, you have the buyer, but now if you are a good listing agent, you're a good marketing agent, you find that buyer for your listing. Now we're talking about three transactions. The sale, the listing of two sides, listing and sale and buyer, that seller that's looking to buy, and now four times. Now you know that the seller is going to buy a property. You know exactly where they want to move to. Now you go into that community where they want to buy a property, and you find another seller or a homeowner that does not have a relationship with another real estate agent, and now you get to become their listing agent. And guess what? You double side that transaction. That's five transactions. Now, if we could say it, let's say it to all of us together, and I'm gonna have you unmute yourself, Eldar. Let's say ching. All right, so at the count of three, five transactions, ching. All right. Now that's what I'm talking about. The value of a listing. All right. Are you getting a bigger picture? So all I could say is, isn't that amazing? That out of one listing, that you could potentially have five transactions out of one listing, provided that that seller becomes a buyer. So where do we find listings? On this, I'm going to bring up a slide here. So lead generating activities, again, this goes hand in hand. I'm going to break it down a little bit more for you. Number one, prospecting for sellers and marketing to them. A, your neighborhood. Okay. So I always recommend to all the agents that I sit, that sit with me and that I get to share time with them, is you want to become the top real estate agent in your community. You want to become the dominant real estate agent in your community, in your neighborhood, better said, right? Why? Because you go there every day. You walk the neighborhood, you drive the neighborhood, you go to the grocery stores in the neighborhood, you go to the parks, you walk your dog. If you grew up in the neighborhood, and if you have kids, your kids go to the schools within that neighborhood. So why not become the most dominating real estate agent in your neighborhood? I personally believe that any agent could dominate their neighborhood. Doesn't matter if there's two or three other real estate agents within your neighborhood. You be the hardest working real estate agent, and I promise you that you will be the dominant agent within your neighborhood. You just have to outwork. Work harder than they do. Work smarter than they do. Invest more money than they do. And now you could become the top real estate agent in your neighborhood. Prospecting for sellers and marketing to them, people that you know. Okay. So each and every one of you, and this is where I find the biggest challenge for me, when I meet new agents and agents that are getting ready to start this business, and they say, I have no clients. And I guarantee you, unless you're like myself, that I lost my phone and I lost all my contacts. And because I was not backing up to a cloud. But if you're not like me, I guarantee you that any one of you has a couple hundred contacts within your phone right now. Guaranteed. And these may be people that may have called you a year ago, 2 years ago, and it doesn't matter. You're a real estate agent. You got to market yourself. You got to market your services, and you got to market your business. Okay. And you're going to pick up the phone. You're going to call them. By the way, my name is so-and-so. I have your name and phone number recorded on my phone that we spoke on March 5th, 2023 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I do not know why we spoke, but I have you recorded. And therefore, I'm giving you a call because I'm a local real estate agent and I'm looking to establish communication with individuals that may be thinking or planning on moving, whether selling, buying, or wanting to make a real estate investment. And who would you happen to know that may be interested or thinking of moving? Oh, I don't know anyone. Fine. How about yourself? What's your current housing situation? Are you a homeowner or you're renting? No, I'm a homeowner. Great. Now you have a conversation. There's scripts. How long have you been living at this property? What made you choose your current property, your neighborhood? And just have a dialogue with them. Have a conversation with them. And before you hang up, you tell them, would you mind if I stay in communication with you from here on out? Would you mind? Would you like to be part of my CAP services? My CAP meaning my customer appreciation services. Or no, that didn't sound right. My customer appreciation program, my CAP program. Okay. And what I do is periodically I send out information, real estate and financial information to those who are part of my customer appreciation program, information related to real estate. And I'll keep you updated with what's going on in the real estate industry. And this is not going to cost you a penny. Would you welcome that? Chances are, I would say over 50% of the time, they're going to agree to it. So all you need to do is, okay, I have your phone number and I have your name. Now, what's the best way for me to communicate with you? Let them tell you. Oh, you could send it by email. Fantastic. What's your email address? Write it down. Oh, and by the way, before we hang up, in case I need to mail you something, what would be the best mailing address? Write down the mailing address. Now you have what I call solid gold. Name, phone number, email address, and mailing address. If they give you an address, then you go for the email address. So you ask them, which is the best way that I can stay in communication with you? Now, you have to be careful because they're going to tell you, most of them are going to tell you, oh, you can send me information by text. You tell them, oh, that's great. I have your phone number, but I normally, for those that are part of my customer appreciation program, I usually have 3 forms of contact information. So what will be best for you? Email address or mailing address? Or get their email address, because if you're a smart agent, like all of yous are, we have a software now. We have an application called Forewarn that with a phone number, you're able to find out where they live and if they own property. Okay? So that is the value of having gold or solid gold information. So those are the people that you know, or people that may be in your phone program. Here's another one. Local businesses. This may be one of the best kept secrets in the real estate industry. Why? Because very few people prospect local businesses. But guess what? In every single local business, there's something there that each and every one of us need in order to grow our business. People. And every single business, there's people. There may be 1, 2, 3, 5 people, 7 people, 10 people working there. So guess what? Go into the business community, introduce yourself, provided that they don't have a sign in front of the door that says no soliciting. If you don't see a no soliciting sign, that means they're welcoming you in. They're saying, come on in, come meet me. Come on, let's talk. And meet them, speak with them, introduce yourself, get to know them, get to know their business, and start building your database. Okay, so local businesses may be the best kept secret of growing your real estate business because nobody's reaching out to. Number two, farming area or with your neighborhood. All right, so this is another way of finding listings. In your farming area, select a farm area or your neighborhood. We already spoke about your neighborhood. Number three, for sale by owners. This is the fastest sale or fastest way of finding business. Okay, because they have something that you market and that you serve. Okay, they have a property and they're looking to sell it. So for sale by owners. Now, for sale by owners, you're going to have to do a little bit of work. You're going to have to do a little bit of training. You're going to have to learn scripts. You're going to have systems. Okay, that's where I come into play. Speak with the coach. Get involved with the productivity coaching program. My services are cheap, guys. It's only 5% of your commission. On a $10,000 commission, it's only $500. Man, that's a bargain. You know how much a coaching programs out there cost? Mike Ferry, $1,000 a month. Any coach, any coaching, real estate coaching program out there, they'll charge you whether you sell or not, $1,000 a month. And if you use coaching, top tier coaching, I got involved with them 2 years ago that for 1 hour of coaching, $400. Yes, 1 hour of coaching. That was through Brivity, through a Brivity platform. Oh, that's not talking about the website that they charge you. 2 hours of coaching, $800. Now, that's expensive. My services to be your productivity coach, it's 5% of your commission upon you selling. If you don't sell, guess what? All my time invested, it's on you. It's a bonus. It's just information that you gathered, notes that you gathered, and it's whatever you do. All right. So there is a question. I'm going to take a pause here. Nicole Nunez, one of our agents in the class, has a question. Go ahead. Yes. You wish them the best. You bless them. You tell them, God bless you. God bless you. I hope you sell your business. I hope you sell your property. Oh, by the way, but how can I help you sell your property? Just ask them. That's the question. Open-ended question. Mr. Seller, Mrs. Homeowner, I know you're going to be successful in selling your property. Perhaps you might sell it tomorrow, a week from today, a month from today, 3 months down the road. But I just have to ask you a question. How could I assist you in selling your property? Let them tell you. Okay? All right. So did that answer your question? All right. So for sale by owners. Now, expired. So this one, we're going to have a good conversation. Expired listings. When you went to the real estate school, and if you're online, and if you're looking for training and if you're looking for anything to build your business, you're always going to hear the subject expired. Expired is the business of the day. I'm not going to say it's not, but not every single expired is an expired. Okay? Trust me when I tell you this. You can use the same dialogue and the same scripts for an expired, for all expires, because not every single expired is an expired. because we as listing agents, we have a way of controlling a listing through the MLS. The MLS allows us to control the listing. So you could take a listing, and like me, I have a listing that I took in August. However, my seller has decided, or she has too many personal problems that has kept her from selling her property. And what have I done? I still have the listing, although there was a fiasco that happened to me this week based on that listing. But being that I have control of the listing, I'm able to put the listing in temporarily off the market status. That means that any agent that looks at my property or that looks at that listing, technically they can't prospect it, because if not, there will be a violation of the MLS rules and the Board of Realtors, the association, or the Realtor Boards, Realtor Association, whatever. All right, because I still have a connection with that seller. So what happens is, if I put that property temporarily off the market and the listing expires on January 31st, 2024, when that property comes off the market as an expired, you got to look at when it was temporarily off the market. Okay. If it was temporarily off the market 3 months ago, 4 months ago, whatever, that is not a true expired. So your conversation needs to be different. So you need to prospect that customer in a different manner. And the way you prospect them is, when are you planning in putting this property back on the market? That's the question. Okay. You can't prospect them as, Mr. Homeowner and seller, I know I'm the 10th or 15th call you have received regarding your expired listing. And when are you planning on interviewing a real estate agent like myself for the job of selling your home? Okay. So there's another question here from Nikki.
You said that not every expired is expired, and however, every conversation could be different. So I know that you can still target the canceled, but how do you target them? Because they're like, oh, it's off the market, and they just click on it. So it's just, how do you communicate with those people?
Again, you have to find a way. You have to find the skill and create the skill in keeping and engaging that homeowner that on that cancel listing. So that was something that I didn't touch on, but I'll get back to that. Let me just stay here on the expired. Okay. So on the expired listing, there's, again, a real estate agent has control over the listing. So temporarily off the market, eventually that property will expire. A withdrawn also is not a true expired listing, because that's what I did with my listing now. I took it, instead of going every 30 days, temporarily off the market, then going active, and then temporarily off the market. What I did is I called the board, and I finally figured out, after all these years being in real estate, 20 plus years, of what is a withdrawal listing. And I haven't had this problem, because usually all my listings sell. I have very few listings in my lifetime they've expired on. Okay. But what they told me is, you could take the property off the market, withdrawn, and you don't have to worry about it until the day the listing expires. Okay, so that way you don't have to go back and forth and change it from temporarily off the market to active, so on and so forth. Okay, now when you see expired, you've got to look at the previous status in order to determine if it was a true expired. Okay, so if you see it was temporarily off the market, or if you see it was withdrawn, it's not a true expired. If you see that it was active yesterday and it showed up as an expired listing today, that's a true expired. So now your dialogue and the scripts are different. Okay. Getting to the question that Nicole has about canceled listings. Okay. Well, canceled listings is a status that happens today, or it happened 3 months ago, and you're calling old expired. So here's a key. The older the expireds are, the older the canceled listings are, the better they are. Because that means less people are calling. So you, depending on the service provider that you use, you could go back 1 or 2 years on calling these expired listings or canceled listings. Now, canceled listing is someone that had the property listed and they decided to cancel, okay, for A, B, or C reasons. All right. Now, those might not be the best ones to call immediately, because if they canceled the listing yesterday, chances are they have a problem, and they still have a relationship with the real estate agent, unless they hate their real estate agent, unless they had a fallout with their real estate agent. So those are not good prospects to prospect immediately, because they have a relationship or they know of a real estate agent. But 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, even a year down the road, that listing agent that they had, unless they're real good and staying in contact with their customers, chances are they forgot. They went on to good or better things, onto better things, according to them. Okay, you never forget about your customer. You never forget about the context. You never forget about anyone you meet or that you've come across. Okay, a good real estate agent is the best relationship maker out there. A good real estate agent. Okay, that's on that. So on the canceled listings, it just depends. That's something that it's skills to get them on the phone, and you got to take them back to when they list it, and you just got to ask them, okay, when are you planning and putting your property back on the market? No, it's not for sale. Okay, no, great. What I'm asking you is, when are you planning and, when are you thinking of putting your property back on the market? Yeah, it's a different script. Okay. Very similar to the withdrawn and temporarily off the market. Very similar. Okay. All right. We're almost done here. It's 12:12. I've only been talking for 1 hour, so I'm doing good. So where do you find listings? Number 5, networking events. Become a networking person. Network with individuals. Meet people. Go out there, speak to people. Give your business cards out. Share, create a flyer, invest on a brochure. We invest on a postcard. That way you're able to give it to people when you're going out and networking events. Okay. Community events or volunteer for any nonprofit organization. Okay, this is value. Now, here's one thing. You always want to come from contribution. You want to add value to people. And one of the best ways to come from contribution and add value to people is to work with them side by side in any nonprofit organization. So any community events or volunteer for anything. That's a good idea to meet people and to find listings. And number 7, hosting a seminar or workshop in person or online. Okay, so become an educator. One of the biggest problems that I have found is, and I think that this is where the real estate community has failed, is I took it upon myself that I'm going to educate the consumers, those that are around me. I'm going to educate them about the real estate process, about the real estate market, about what's going on in the communities, in the neighborhood, on values. So become an educator. Come from contribution and from added value. Become a consultant, a real estate consultant. Become the local real estate economist. Okay. And that is that you educate people. And what I say, the reason why I think our business does not thrive as much as it should, and why we have so many for sale by owners out there, is that we have failed to educate the public. We have not done a good job in educating them. Because on a for sale by owner, if they knew the value that we could bring to them, yeah, they could save themselves a ton of money by not using our services. But they could also leave a lot of money on the table. Okay. Because are they getting the best price selling for sale by owner? I could go up and down the MLS. I could probably pull up 25 properties today, and I would say maybe over 50% of them, they sold over asking price. Okay. However, I could tell you that we could speak to 25 for sale by owners from their starting point and where they ended up at. And I would say 50% of them sold it for less than what they were asking. You know why? You know, this is a conversation that, and this is how you create doubt in the for sale by owners is Mr. For sale by owner. I know for a fact that those who are savvy investors and those who know what they're doing when they're looking to make a real estate investment, and those who are business individuals, business persons, that they look to for sale by owners. Do you want to know why? The reason they look for sale by owners is because they know they could get a discount on the sale, on the purchase of their home, because they're not paying a real estate agent for their services. So if you were, if you know, you seem like you're a smart person and sharp, and you're looking to sell in order to save yourself some money. But I tell you that next time you go out and go buy a property is to go find a for sale by owner and negotiate with that for sale by owner, because they're not paying a commission. So I'm just telling you that because although you think you're saving yourself money in the long run by selling for sale by owner, you're really not, because you're not exposing your property to as many buyers as possible. That may bring you the highest amount of money of your asking price. And that's a God honest truth. So again, in this business, it's all about knowledge. It's all about communication. It's all about skills. It's all about working hard. It's about doing the 6 income producing activities. It's about farming. It's about creating a database. It's about just doing what you are called to do as a real estate agent. And I will not be doing you a service if I will not tell you to work with me as your productivity coach. So with that, unless you have any questions, or actually, I want to get your thoughts on everything that I've shared. So usually when I do these trainings, I ask for big ahas. Okay. So Eldar, if you could unmute yourself and if you could share with me 3 big ahas of anything that I have shared over the past hour. That way it's recorded here. So unmute yourself.
I'm sorry. Hello. Yes, the big aha is for me, I like the fact that you talk about, making yourself the hardest working real estate in your neighborhood, which is something that, yes, it's important because that's what you know, and you're able to discuss about the neighborhood, what's good about it, and probably point out all the good stuff, because then your children grew up there, and you'll be able to answer questions for whatever they have for you to, whatever question they have, what you know is best. That's the best way to answer what you know. When you know, and you're like, I'll be looking for it, or I'll look it up, but if you're able to talk about it from the top of your head, it makes you look more professional. That's the big aha for me. And I'm sorry, I wrote it down.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. 2 more. 2 more big ahas.
Well, coaching is good, like you said. Yeah, just to get yourself, to actually getting a coach would cost you so much, where we have this information that you are helping us to put it to use and become the agent that we need. And also it actually helped me to like kind of see it, because I'm doing the dual, I'm working, plus this is why my real estate profession has not taken off, because of I'm giving my job my 100% and not my business. So that actually being the employee and the employer, not being the employee. So it also helps, and that's a big aha for me.
Okay.
And I'm sorry.
All
Can
right,
you
so
ask somebody else and come back to me?
So I'm gonna let you off the hook because you just said the third one, to become the employer and not the employee, becoming a
Yeah.
listener. All right. So I do thank
Yes.
you for sharing, and we'll be connected. And we'll be connected.
Yes.
So you can mute yourself.
Thank you.
Now I'm gonna go to these two young ladies, and I'm gonna go in alphabetical order with Nicole. Three big ahas.
Well, the starting first order, 5 transactions by 1 minute. That was
Okay.
because out of that, just by one listing, I can really close.
That can motivate you.
That one. Now my second would be the canceled, because that's something that I have been struggling a lot lately when I cold call, and that is something that I have determined to kind of, master that script and like really figure that out. My third aha would have been what you had said about the for sale by owner, because that's another thing that I've been struggling with. How can I convince them to want to work with me, because they want to save a lot of money than working with an agent. Now, when you said that these investors look at these for sale by owners and try to get like a discount from them just because they see, oh, they're not working with a realtor, that's what I was like, I can make this so much easier for myself just by knowing what to say and how to say it.
Okay, there you go. So you got that. You got three big ahas from one of the agents here. Again, just the 5 transactions in one, working with canceled listings and working with for sale by owners. And least but not last, Vanessa, 3 big ahas. And we're gonna wrap it up. Okay. All right. So she said, working with local businesses, prospecting local businesses.
Wrote down here the 5 transactions.
All right.
So I thought that was really cool, because I actually never even thought about that.
Okay. So she's saying as a number 2 big aha is 5 transactions in one, coming out of one transaction.
Business savvy people tend to, when you were talking about how they go to different rents and also the houses, how it was kind of said that, we kind of do that.
So a big aha was a great way to end this training about the open houses, that it's a great way to get more leads. So with that, mark your calendars. Again, here at the office, February 24th from 10 to 12, 7-level, hosting a 7-level open house. All right. So with that, if you have any questions, if you want to grow your business, you know where to reach me. I'm here at your services Wednesdays and Fridays, usually in person from 2 to 5, and Monday through Friday, the other days of the week from 2 to 5. You could feel free to reach out to me, send me a text, say, Coach, I need to speak with you, or whatever it is. All right. So until we see or speak with each other, take care. I wish you guys much success, and may God bless you.
Thank you.